hall was silent. World leaders, generals, and alien diplomats stood in one long line. Giant alien banners hung from the walls, glowing with strange lights. Cameras hovered in the air, broadcasting the historic meeting to the galaxy. This was the first human-alien peace summit after 15 years of war. Both sides had lost too much. Billions had died. Now, peace was the only hope. And yet, in that great hall full of power and pride, the most powerful being of all walked past them, the alien queen. She was tall, glowing softly in a silver armor that looked alive. Her crown floated just above her head, made of crystal and energy. Her eyes were bright gold. They saw everything, every move, every lie, every truth. Everyone thought she would stop in front of the human president, or maybe the generals, or the scientist who created the first peace weapon. But she didn't. She walked past them all slowly, quietly, with grace. Her guards looked nervous, but they didn't stop her. Daniel Reid, a 27-year-old translator, stood at the back of the room. He wasn't important. He wasn't famous. He was only there to help translate alien languages, just in case. He stood still, holding his datapad, trying not to be noticed. And yet, the queen walked straight to him. The cameras zoomed in. People gasped. The human president whispered, "Who is that? Why is she walking toward him?" Daniel's heart started beating faster. This must be a mistake, he thought. She doesn't even know me. But she did. She stopped just a few feet from him. Her golden eyes looked into his blue ones. Then, with a small smile that made her guards shift nervously, the queen asked in a calm voice, "Are you single?" Silence. Every sound in the room vanished. Even the cameras seemed to pause. Daniel blinked. What? The queen tilted her head. "Are you single?" she asked again, as if the question was the most normal thing in the world. Everyone stared. The human generals were frozen. The alien diplomats whispered in shock. The human president stepped forward and shouted, "Step back, soldier. Don't answer her." But Daniel didn't move. He couldn't. The queen kept her eyes on him. It wasn't just a playful question. There was something serious, something deeper hiding behind her words. Daniel finally found his voice. "Yes, I'm single," he said slowly, unsure why he was even answering. The queen smiled wider. "Good." Then she turned around and walked back to her place at the center of the hall, saying nothing else. Her guards followed her, confused. The humans looked at Daniel like he had just broken a law. One general grabbed his arm. "You're coming with us, now." Daniel was taken out of the hall. No one explained anything. No one said what would happen next. In a secure room, he sat alone, guards watching him closely. He had no idea what he did wrong, or what he did right. Then, a message came. A silver sphere rolled into the room. It floated in front of him and opened, showing a small, glowing screen. "The queen has requested your presence aboard her ship." Daniel stared at it. "What is happening?" he whispered to himself. He had no answers. Just more questions. Why him? Why that question? What did the queen see in him? But one thing was certain now. This was no ordinary peace meeting. Something had started, something strange, something big. Daniel sat alone in the quiet room. The air felt heavy. 2 guards stood outside the door, watching him like he was dangerous. He was just a translator, a normal guy. And yet, the alien queen had spoken to him, in front of everyone, and asked a strange question. "Are you single?" He had answered without thinking. Yes. Now, no one would talk to him. The human leaders were confused and afraid. Then, a sound broke the silence. A silver sphere floated into the room again. This time, it opened slowly and showed a message glowing in blue light. "The queen requests your presence aboard her ship, alone." Daniel stared at the message. His heart beat faster. Alone? Why him? Before he could ask, 2 guards entered. You've been requested, one said, by the Queen herself. Daniel stood up slowly. His legs felt weak. Am I in trouble? The guard shrugged. No one knows. We've never seen anything like this before. They led him down a hallway, through locked doors, and out to the landing area. A large alien ship waited there, floating silently. Like a silver mountain, it opened for him. Daniel stepped inside. The inside of the ship was silent. Soft blue lights glowed on the walls. Alien symbols moved like water. No guards, no noise, just silence. Then she appeared. The Queen. She stood at the center of the room, her silver crown glowing, her face calm, but her eyes serious. Daniel bowed, unsure of what else to do. You wanted to see me? She nodded. Yes, Daniel Reid, you are different. How do you know my name? He asked softly. I've seen you, in visions, long before today. Daniel's eyebrows rose. Visions. She walked closer, her long silver robes flowing behind her. I have a gift. I see threads of time, warnings, dreams. I've seen a human with your face, your eyes, a human who saves my people in our darkest hour. Daniel's voice shook. But I'm not a hero. I'm not a soldier. I'm just a translator, she said, finishing his words. Yes, but your path is not small. It is hidden, waiting. She walked to a small platform and picked up something glowing, a strange artifact. It looked like a crystal, shaped like a star, pulsing with blue light. This, she said, is the reason I came to the Peace Summit. It's older than my people. It responds to only one kind of life form. We searched for years. She handed it to him. Daniel hesitated, but slowly reached out. As soon as his fingers touched it, the crystal flashed. The room lit up. Strange symbols floated in the air. A soft sound filled the ship, like distant music. Daniel gasped. The Queen smiled. It only responds to you. He stared at the glowing object. What is it? A key? A guide? A warning? We are still learning, she replied. Daniel felt something shift in his chest, like the crystal had touched a hidden part of him. Suddenly, a memory appeared in his mind, but it wasn't his. He saw fire, a battlefield, aliens running, the Queen standing in the middle, injured, as enemies closed in. Then he saw himself, older, stronger, leading a group of fighters, saving her. Daniel fell back, breathing hard. What was that? The Queen stepped forward. That is what is coming, or perhaps what has already come before. Daniel shook his head. This doesn't make sense. The Queen's voice softened. Not yet, but you are part of something greater. I don't want war. I want peace. But I cannot do it alone. He looked up at her. So, what do you want from me? She walked closer and said, I want your truth, your help, and your answer. Daniel swallowed. To what? She leaned in and whispered the same question from earlier. Are you still single? Daniel blinked. It was the same words, but now they felt different. Not funny, not romantic, important, like a test, a choice. I guess I am, he said quietly. She nodded. Then you are free to choose your future, with us or walk away. Daniel looked down at the glowing crystal in his hand, and he knew one thing for sure. He would never be the same again. Daniel sat inside a bright alien room, unlike anything he had ever seen. The walls were made of soft silver light, and the chairs looked like they were grown, not built. Strange machines hummed around him, scanning, testing, watching. A group of alien scientists stood nearby. Their eyes were large and glowing. Their hands moved quickly across floating screens. Daniel felt like a test subject. He looked down at the crystal he still held. It was quiet now, but it still pulsed gently in his hand. Like a heartbeat, the alien Queen stood at a distance, watching silently. Finally, one of the alien scientists turned to her and spoke in a deep voice. It's true, Your Majesty. The Humans' DNA contains markers we have never seen in any other species, not even among the oldest starborn races. The Queen nodded slowly. Can you explain what it means? The scientist looked at Daniel. It means he is not completely human, or perhaps he is something more than human. Daniel frowned. What do you mean? I was born on Earth. I had normal parents. I'm just a guy who speaks languages. The scientist replied. Yes, but deep inside your cells, there is something ancient, something we only saw in myths and lost records. He pointed to a screen. It showed Daniel's DNA, twisted in glowing blue strands. There's a code in your blood, a code that matches the energy of the artifact. This cannot be by accident. Daniel shook his head. So what am I then? The Queen stepped forward. You are the one my visions showed me, the one chosen by the stars. But perhaps even the stars don't understand why. Daniel stood up. You think I'm some kind of prophecy? The Queen nodded. Not just a prophecy, a bridge. Daniel looked confused. A bridge between what? Between species, she said. Between war and peace. Between what was lost and what must be found again. He looked at the artifact. You're saying my blood connects to this thing? Yes, the scientist answered. This artifact is millions of years old, from a race that disappeared before any of our empires were born. It was said to respond only to the seed of unity. Daniel's heart raced. And you think I'm that seed? We don't think, the Queen said softly. We know. Daniel felt dizzy. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't special. He was just Daniel Reid from a small town on Earth. He had studied languages, not ancient alien magic, but the crystal had chosen him. He remembered the vision, the one where he was older, stronger, and saving the Queen in battle. Why me? He asked again. Why not a soldier or a leader? The Queen answered gently. Because a soldier brings weapons. A leader brings pride, but a translator brings understanding. Daniel stood in silence. Suddenly, the artifact glowed again. This time, it showed another memory now, a future, a city in flames, alien children running, the Queen kneeling in sorrow, and Daniel, standing between two armies, holding up the artifact. His voice echoed through the sky. No more war. Then everything faded. Daniel gasped and stepped back. His hands were shaking. What was that? He whispered. A possible future, the Queen said. One where you change everything. Daniel looked at her. So? What do you want me to do? She stepped closer, her voice soft and serious. Help me. Learn with me. Guide us. I don't ask for war. I ask for peace. Daniel took a deep breath. This was insane, unreal, but something deep inside him said it was right. I'm just a translator, he whispered. But now, the Queen said, with a small smile, you're also a symbol. Daniel looked at the artifact once more. Then he nodded. Okay, I'll stay. Daniel was given a private room inside the Queen's ship. It was peaceful, quiet, and filled with soft lights that changed colors with his mood. He didn't understand how the room knew his feelings, but it somehow did. He sat on the soft bed, looking at the glowing artifact, still resting in his hands. It no longer pulsed like before, but it felt warm, alive. He lay down, closed his eyes, and tried to sleep, but sleep didn't come. A strange vision pulled him into darkness. He was no longer in the room. Daniel stood on a battlefield filled with smoke and fire. Alien soldiers were screaming. Buildings burned in the distance. The air smelled like metal and dust. In the center of it all, the Queen was kneeling, blood on her face, her crown cracked, her hands trembling. Daniel ran to her. I'm here, he shouted, but she didn't hear him. Then he saw himself, another version of him, running through the smoke with the artifact glowing bright in his hands. That other Daniel shouted something in a strange language. The enemy stopped. Everything froze. The artifact released a powerful wave of energy, and then dashed darkness. Daniel woke up with a loud gasp. His body was wet with sweat. His hands were shaking. "What was that?" he whispered. Before he could move, the door opened. The Queen stood there. "You saw it too," she said. Daniel's eyes widened. "You mean the fire? The battle? You were hurt?" "I was there." The Queen nodded slowly. "Yes. That was not just a dream. It was a shared memory. A warning from the artifact." Daniel sat up. But it felt real, like it happened before. She walked in and sat across from him. The artifact connects minds. It shows what may happen, or what once happened. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. Daniel looked down. "You were dying. I tried to save you." She nodded. "You always try." Daniel looked up. "What does it mean that we keep seeing each other in these visions?" The Queen spoke quietly. "It means our fates are linked. You and I, for reasons even I don't fully understand." Daniel rubbed his forehead. "This is too much. I'm not a chosen one. I'm just a guy who studied languages. But you're more than that now," she said softly. "You carry something ancient inside you, something powerful, and something kind." Daniel looked away. "In that dream, you were alone, scared." "Yes," she said. "That part was real. It happened many years ago. My people betrayed me. I lost everything. And in my lowest moment, I dreamed of you." Daniel turned to her. "You dreamed of me back then?" She nodded. "Your face appeared. I didn't know who you were, but I remembered your eyes. The same eyes I saw at the summit." Daniel was silent. He felt something deep in his chest. Not just fear or confusion, a connection. Like he was meant to be there, even if he didn't understand why. "What do we do now?" he asked. The Queen stood. "We prepare. Something is coming. I don't know when or from where, but the artifact shows danger." Daniel followed her out of the room. The ship was quiet, but he could feel tension in the air. Like everyone knew, the calm wouldn't last. "Will the humans help?" Daniel asked. "I don't know," she said. "They fear what they don't understand." Daniel nodded. "So do I." She looked at him kindly. "But you stayed." Daniel smiled faintly. "Yeah, I did." As they walked deeper into the ship, the lights dimmed. The artifact pulsed once in his pocket. The dream still burned in his mind. Her pain, his failure, and a question that haunted him. Could he really stop what was coming? Daniel stood near the large glass window inside the Queen's ship. He looked out at the stars. So many lights, so much silence. His heart was heavy. He had seen the dream, the fire, the fear, the Queen's pain, and he had felt it like it was real. Behind him, the soft doors opened. The Queen entered the room. Her long silver robes moved like water. Her face was calm, but her eyes held something deep worry. "You haven't spoken much since the dream," she said gently. Daniel didn't turn around. "I can't stop thinking about it." She stepped beside him. "You saw my worst moment. Now you understand why I need you." Daniel looked at her. "But why me? I'm not a warrior. I don't even belong here. You saw the fire. You saw me fall. But most of all, you saw what others didn't." Stood back up. Her voice was soft. "That's why it has to be you." Daniel turned. "And if I leave?" The Queen paused. "Then I respect your choice. You will be returned to Earth, safe, free." Silence filled the room. Daniel looked down. "You're giving me a way out." "Yes," she said. "Because real strength is not in orders, it's in choice." He closed his eyes. Back on Earth, he had a small life, a job, a few friends, no family. He was normal, invisible. But here, he was something more, something important. The Queen spoke again. "There's something else you should know." Daniel opened his eyes. "What is it?" She raised her hand, and showed him a glowing map. It hovered in the air, showing her home planet Valeria. This is where I was born, where the old empire ruled. Now, a rebellion is growing there, led by my own brother. Daniel's eyes widened. Your brother? She nodded. He believes in power, not peace. He wants to destroy the treaty. He will come for me, and for you. Daniel's voice was quiet. Why me? Because you are the key, she said. To the artifact, to the prophecy. If he controls you, he controls everything. Daniel took a step back. So I'm in danger. We both are, she said. But I won't force you to stay. Daniel looked back out the window. He remembered the first time he saw the Queen. The moment she asked him, "Are you single?" It had seemed silly back then. Now it felt like the start of something much bigger. I thought my life had no meaning, he whispered. Now it feels like the galaxy is watching me. The Queen smiled softly. Because it is. He turned to her. You said I could choose. So let me say this clearly. She raised her eyes to meet his dot. Daniel took a breath. I choose to stay. Not because of the prophecy, not because of the visions, but because I believe you, and I believe in peace. The Queen's expression softened. Then you are not just the key. You are hope. Suddenly, an alarm rang. Through the ship, a guard rushed in. Your Majesty, a message from Valeria. The rebellion has begun. Your brother has taken the capital. The Queen stood tall. So it begins. Daniel clenched his fists. We're out of time, aren't we? She nodded. Yes, we must leave for Valeria tonight. Daniel looked at the artifact glowing in his hand. I'm with you, he said. The Queen looked at him with pride. Then let's go save a world. The Queen's ship moved quickly through space. Stars passed like streaks of light as they flew toward Valeria, her homeworld, now under attack. Daniel stood in the control room, watching the planet grow larger in the distance. It looked beautiful from here. Blue oceans, green mountains, and silver cities that sparkled like glass. But the beauty hid the truth. The rebellion had begun. The Queen's brother, Prince Kale, had taken the capital city and declared war against the peace treaty. He believed in strength, not unity, and he wanted the ancient artifact for himself. Daniel held the artifact tightly in his hand. It was glowing again, as if it could feel the danger coming. The Queen walked beside him. Her armor was shining silver, with a dark cape flowing behind her. She looked calm, but her eyes showed the truth. She was afraid. You don't have to. Come down there with me, she said. It will be dangerous. Daniel shook his head. I told you I'm staying. Whatever happens, I'm with you, she smiled. Then stay close, and trust your instincts. The ship landed in a quiet valley just outside the city. The Queen's loyal guards moved quickly, securing the area. The streets were empty. The people had been forced inside by Kale's army. Smoke rose from the center of the city. Fires burned in the distance. Daniel looked around. This doesn't look like peace. The Queen nodded. It's not yet. Suddenly, a loud explosion shook the ground. One of the guards shouted, "Enemy forces! They found us!" Aliens in black armor ran from the buildings, their weapons glowing red. They opened fire. The Queen raised a shield of energy, protecting Daniel. Get behind me. Her guards returned fire. The battle had started. Daniel ducked behind a wall, his heart racing. He wasn't a soldier. He had never held a weapon. But then the artifact glowed brighter. It floated from his hand and pulsed once, and something strange happened. The enemy. Soldiers froze for a second. Their weapons stopped glowing. Their eyes widened in confusion. The Queen looked at Daniel. The artifact. It's protecting us. Daniel stood up, his voice shaking. I didn't do anything. Yes, you did, she said. It responds to your will. Daniel took a deep breath and raised the artifact high. Stop, he shouted. A wave of energy burst from the crystal, knocking the enemy soldiers back. None were killed, but all were pushed to the ground, their weapons useless. The queen lowered her shield. Her eyes were wide. You just saved us. Daniel was still shaking. I don't know how. She placed her hand on his shoulder. You don't need to understand it yet. Just believe in it. Later, they entered an old temple deep beneath the city. It had once been a sacred place for the royal family. Now, it was their only safe shelter. Inside, the queen met with her remaining allies. They spoke quickly, planning the next move. Daniel sat alone near a stone wall, thinking this wasn't just about a planet. It was about a future, about two worlds trying to come together suddenly. A shadow fell across the room. A message appeared. On the wall, a hologram of Prince Kale. He was tall, strong, with sharp eyes and a cruel smile. Sister, he said, you brought your human toy to Valeria. How sweet. Daniel stood up. Who are you calling a toy? Kale laughed. You don't even know what you are. Human. But I do. That artifact belongs to me. And you're going to give it to me, or watch this planet burn. The queen stepped forward. I will never let you take it. Kale's eyes turned cold. Then you'll both die. The hologram disappeared. Daniel looked at the queen. He's coming. She nodded. Then we make our stand. Outside, the sky darkened. Kale's army was gathering. But inside the temple, Daniel made his choice again. He would not run. He would fight not with guns, but with hope, because the artifact had chosen him, and now, the galaxy was watching. The temple shook. Dust fell from the ceiling as the sounds of war echoed outside. Prince Kale's army had arrived. Hundreds of soldiers, powerful machines, and dark ships filled the sky. Daniel stood beside the queen in the temple's main chamber. He could feel the fear in the air, but also something else. Hope. The artifact glowed in his hand. It pulsed with every heartbeat, stronger than ever before. You don't have to do this, the queen said gently. You've already done more than anyone could ask. Daniel looked at her. No, I started this journey with you. I'm going to finish it with you. She smiled softly. Then we stand together. Outside, Kale stood at the front of his army. His armor was black and sharp like blades. His eyes were cold and full of hate. He raised his hand. Bring me the human, or burn the city. His soldiers moved forward. Inside the temple, the queen's guards prepared to fight, but they were outnumbered. Daniel stepped forward. We don't need more fighting. We need to show them something stronger. He held the artifact up high. It responded. The crystal released a bright wave of energy. It spread across the city like wind, touching everything. The soldiers stopped. The machines froze. The sky became calm. And then, everyone heard a voice, not loud, but clear. Daniel's voice. Enough. This world has seen too much war. Too much pain. I came here without power, without purpose. But now I see the truth. He looked at the queen, then at the enemy troops. We are not enemies. We are a future. Together, if you want to stop me, then come. But I will not run. I stand here, not as a warrior, but as a human who chooses peace. The light from the artifact grew brighter and brighter. Some of Kale's soldiers stepped back, confused. Kale shouted, "He's just a human. Attack." But none moved. They were afraid. Or maybe they were beginning to believe. Kale roared with anger and flew into the sky, toward the temple, his ship glowing red, with weapons ready. The queen turned to Daniel. "Go. I'll stop him." Daniel grabbed her hand. "No, we do it together." The two of them stepped outside as Kale's ship hovered above. Kale shouted from his speaker, "You don't understand the power you hold, Daniel. That artifact is mine." Daniel looked up. "It was never yours. It chose me." The artifact floated between them and released a beam of light. straight into Kale's ship. There was no explosion, no death, just silence. The ship powered down slowly and dropped gently to the ground. Kale stepped out, furious and defeated. "You think you've won?" he growled. Daniel walked forward. "No, I think we all can win, if you stop fighting." Kale looked at the Queen, then at Daniel, then at the silent soldiers around him. He dropped his weapon. Hours later, the Queen stood on a platform in the city center. Her people had gathered. The sky was clear now, and peace had returned for real. This time, Daniel stood beside her. She turned to him. "So, I must ask one more time." He smiled. "Go ahead." She took a deep breath, her golden eyes warm. "Are you still single?" Daniel laughed. "No," he said. "Not anymore." The crowd cheered as the Queen took his hand. In that moment, he wasn't just a human, not just a translator, not even just a symbol. He was the one who had helped change two worlds, all because he chose to stay.